All right, good evening, everyone. Dan Henry here in the Full Warren Weather Center with another evening weather briefing here for you based on the very latest computer model information that we continue to monitor. And I would continue to urge you to tune in for our live updates, not only on the air, but online and also on social media as well. Certainly since yesterday, the latest information leads even more confidence to us in terms of expecting a rather significant winter weather event here in North Texas. This is our first one of the winter, and it does look like we are in for an extended period of very cold weather and also significant ice and potential snow accumulation. So a lot to discuss. Let's get right to it here with the weather headlines. Tomorrow, not a big deal at all. In fact, take advantage of Wednesday and Thursday because we've got mild temperatures in the forecast both days. Just some scattered showers tomorrow. The Arctic front arrives on Friday, more than likely in the morning. That will mean that rain will be changing over to a wintry mix as we head through the day Friday into Friday night, and hazardous travel as we head all through the weekend. So impacts could begin as early as Friday afternoon. I've got a more detailed time frame on that here in just a second. And then they'll last all the way through Monday morning. So Monday morning's commute, even though there won't be anything falling, it'll long be over before then. We'll have some significant problems on the roadways. Significant accumulations of ice are possible, leading to travel disruptions, possible power outages as well. And the key there is going to be freezing rain. Who sees the most amount of freezing rain? Because that is what leads to the heavy ice accumulations on tree limbs and power lines. And temperatures likely going to stay below freezing for 3, maybe as long as 4 days, with lows reaching the upper single digits to lower teens by early on Monday morning. So here's a more in-depth look at how many hours we expect to stay below the freezing mark. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I think we'll fall below freezing right around 5 o'clock or shortly after that Friday afternoon, and stay below freezing all the way through mid-afternoon on Monday. So that's 70 hours, nearly 3 consecutive days. To put that in perspective, February 2021, we were 139 consecutive hours below freezing. And just to add to that, we got above the freezing mark just barely for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then we had another 100 consecutive hours below the freezing mark. So it was almost really the better part of 9 to 10 days back in 2021 versus 3 days this time around. So big difference there. 2021 was much worse. And in addition, the temperatures that we're expecting, the overnight lows Sunday and Monday mornings, those will be our 2 coldest mornings. We're looking at 16 in the Metroplex Sunday morning with a wind chill of -1. And then early Monday morning, as the winds die down, 12 degrees with a wind chill of around 4. Back in 2021, we had an overnight low of -2, and then there were 2 other mornings where we had single-digit low temperatures. So once again, not as severe as back in 2021. Here's the onset of travel impacts. Now this gets a little tricky because there are things here that play into a factor that are completely out of our control. How well are the roads treated? That's a big one. Do they do pre-treatment of all the roadways? And usually TxDOT does a very good job at that. And then of course we're timing the Arctic air itself to determine when the rain changes over to freezing rain. And the instant that happens, you don't typically see impacts right away. It takes a couple of hours for those road surfaces to cool off and then start to form some ice. So based on all of that right now and the latest data, noon to 2 p.m. on Friday for areas to the north and northwest of the Metroplex for the first onset of some travel impacts, roughly 4 to 6 p.m. here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then 8 to 10 p.m. for areas to the south and southeast of the Metroplex. If the Arctic air pushes in earlier and it's an even stronger initial surge, then you bet, I mean, these times certainly are subject to change and would get pushed back even earlier. So that's something that we'll continue to monitor, but just want to give you a rough time frame right now as of Tuesday evening. All right, let's get a little bit into meteorology here briefly because I've had a lot of questions from people asking, well, why sleet? Why not snow? Well, this is what's called an atmospheric sounding here from the European model early on Saturday morning. And notice I have circled in red there what we call the warm nose. That blue line is the freezing line. So the green line is the temperature in the atmosphere. And from the 700 level that you see there, that's 700 millibars, down to 850 millibars. So from roughly 10,000 feet down to 5,000 feet, that is all above freezing. That's the warm nose. So snow falling above 10,000 feet falls into that warm layer and it melts. And it melts into raindrops. Well, what happens after that? Well, as it continues to fall, notice below the 850 level there, that green line now heads back to the left again, below freezing. So from 5,000 feet above the ground all the way to the surface, we are below freezing. So those raindrops then fall through a 5,000 foot layer of sub-freezing air and they refreeze. So that is a sleet sounding. That is a strong indication of sleet. Again, that would be early on Saturday morning. Now, the atmosphere is not stagnant. It is constantly changing as winds change, as temperatures and more cold air gets advected in, as the upper level low approaches and temperatures above our heads cool off. And so you can see what happens here as we head into Saturday evening. Notice that warm nose is much less pronounced. Temperatures cooling aloft. This is still more than likely a sleet sounding for us, but I think this trend is going to continue as we head through Saturday evening and Saturday night, and eventually the whole column, the whole sounding, will likely be below freezing, and so that's why we do anticipate this to end as snow late Saturday night and Sunday morning. And northern areas, that process will happen earlier, and so areas north and northwest of the Metroplex at this point in time have a greater chance to see some snow accumulations. At the present time, just clouds overspreading the area. What's on tap tomorrow is just scattered showers, and mainly during the first half of the day. It's roughly a 30 to 40% chance here in the Metroplex. Much lower to our west and northwest, and higher chances to our east. Emory, Canton, Athens, Corsicana, Palestine. I think at least a 50% chance of some rain, and it will likely linger longer into the afternoon as well. Temperatures around the country, single digits now in Fargo and Minot. Minneapolis at 13, but what is lurking just north of the border as you head up into northern and central Canada there, the central Canada provinces, we've got air temperatures right now about 30 degrees below zero. And that Arctic air is going to be surging south of the border as we head through tomorrow and Thursday. That's what gets into North Texas as we head into early on Friday morning. So that's why we expect a big plunge in temperatures. Let's time this out here. This is the late week event. I think it's still rain here across all of North Texas as of noon on Friday. And then as the temperatures continue to fall, they'll likely start out around 42 or so, and by late in the afternoon fall down to the freezing mark. So you can see the green being replaced by the pink colors here as that rain transitions over to freezing rain and perhaps some sleet. And then as we head towards Saturday morning, you can see just about all of the area now with that pink color. That is mainly freezing rain and sleet across North Texas. The blue colors up in Oklahoma, that's snow. They're going to see a primarily snow event up in Oklahoma with several inches possible there. But you can see as we head towards Saturday evening, notice those blue colors encroaching on our Red River counties. The atmospheric sounding that I showed you cooling off, and so we anticipate that our Red River counties could see sleet mixing with snow certainly Saturday evening. And then I think most of North Texas will see this at the tail end come to an end as snow Sunday morning. That's 7 o'clock. And roughly by midday Sunday, certainly by mid-afternoon, all of that heads off to our east and we dry out, but we stay very, very cold. In fact, you'll see that here with our 7-day forecast. Again, couple of mild days to take advantage of, preparing Wednesday and Thursday, highs up around 60. Friday, 42, that's an early morning temperature. The down arrow means that temperatures will fall steadily as that Arctic air surges in here, likely reaching freezing by late in the day. So we'll see that rain go over to a wintry mix late Friday afternoon and Friday night. A little earlier than that, though, to our north and northwest. And then it's pretty much an all-day wintry mix on Saturday with significant accumulations possible. High temperature only 25. Will plunge down to 16 degrees early Sunday morning with wind chills likely dipping just below zero. And 30% chance, I think at least, of some snow showers there Sunday morning. A few peaks of sunshine in the afternoon, only 26 your high. And then as skies clear and winds die down, we go down to 12 degrees early Monday morning. Folks up around Gainesville, Bowie, Jacksboro, those areas could see upper single digits early Monday morning. And I think we just barely cracked the freezing mark Monday afternoon. But those same areas I mentioned to our north and northwest, you folks may actually have to wait until later Tuesday to finally crack the freezing mark. Forecast highs here in the Metroplex with plenty of sunshine around 40 degrees. So that is a look at what we expect to be some very significant weather pushing in here beginning Friday and continuing through much of the upcoming weekend. Of course, we'll continue to monitor things here. This is a fluid situation. We get new computer model data literally every hour on the hour, and we'll have updates as that new fresh data comes in here. Of course, be sure to join us for Fox 4 News at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock right through 10:30. We'll have updates there as well. Thanks for joining me for the Tuesday weather briefing. Stay warm. Good luck making all your preparations, and stay with us as we track this upcoming winter storm here in North Texas. Have a great night.